well, via the journal. It's time for another wrap up. I'm gonna do this in bursts because there were a lot of books. There were a lot of books in September. So I'm gonna do it in bursts where I'll do a few and then take a break and do something else and then do a few more. So that's the thing. I'm not gonna go into the amount of each star that I gave, like how many 5 stars and whatnot, but I will list off the amount of stars for each book. If you don't want to know when I rated books for vlogs beforehand, link below will be all 3 of them. The weekend one where I read the next book in Vampire Academy series, the one where I gave books that I've previously DNF'd, second chances, and the one where I read Age's favorites. For basic stats, I read 6,814 pages total with an average of 227 a day, which, yeah, makes sense. Most days I was lucky if I read anything, especially the first 3 weeks, and then the last week I was doing 600, 700 pages a day, so that makes sense. I read 7 ebooks, just ebooks, 4 just audiobooks, 2 just physical books, and 5 mixed media, which are all audiobook plus. One of those was a physical book, the next book in the Vampire Academy series, and the 4 others were ebooks and audiobook. And yeah, that's for basic stats. Most of the books that I'm gonna start off with are all vlog books. Like, so if you really want to know what specifically happened, I'm not going to go into much detail for each one. I'd say watch those first because I didn't read much of anything for a long time, and the only things I did read were for vlogs. So of course we gotta start with the Heartstoppers. I'm not gonna go really into it. I'm not gonna like talk about each one. I'm just gonna put up the cover of the first one and say that the first 3 I gave 5 stars, and the 4th one I gave 4 stars. They were all rereads. They were a good time. And yeah, that's really all I can say. Like, it was a great time. And you know, maybe I'll finally watch the Heartstopper show. I just gotta have H talk me into it more and more. After that was Colorblind by Sarah Malley, which is like 200 pages, and it took me 5 days. We're not going to talk about it. I rated it 4 stars. I really liked the premise. I almost cried. Like, I was on the verge of tears. It had its moments. I wish it was a little more fast-paced and less of the day-to-day, but I get why. But the ending really let it down, so it could have been a 4.5, but that happened. And then we got the first physical one, yay, which is Shadow Kiss, the next book in the Vampire Academy series. Yeah, she's good. This is the first ever time I've rated a book a quarter of a star. I gave her a 4.25. I didn't start doing half stars until this year, because of this wondrous thing called Storygraph. Before that, I would just struggle and be like, do I do 3 or 4 or 4 or 5? Usually it's 4 or 5. I want to say maybe it's 3 and 4. I'd have to look at my stats, but yeah, no, normally I do that. And I was trying to decide what to rate this because this one was personally better than the second one, but not as good as the first one. And the first one I have set at 4.5 and the second one is at 4. So I was like, I could up the first one to 5 stars officially, because there's basically no reason for it to not be 5 stars, but like, I'm happy with it staying at 4.5. So because Storygraph has the option to do 0.25 and 0.75, I decided just to go ham and do that. So this is the first ever 0.25, and yeah, it was an interesting time. I mean, as I said, I'm not gonna go much into each book because, like, especially the vlog ones. The other ones, maybe I'll go a little more into it because it's gonna be a while before the Instagram and Goodreads reviews come out. But like, but yeah, no, the ending, I did not remember a lot of it, and the ending was interesting, and I'm definitely intrigued to continue on the series because it's the farthest I've ever gotten. So Very happy with that. After that was House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. The atmosphere and writing are great. The rest of it, I was not it. Editing the vlog yesterday was hilarious because I would say something about the book and I'd just be like in the beginning when I was like only a few chapters in, and then me in the future having read it was just like, yeah, I was right. I get why H likes it, and she understands why I don't like it, because like we got the same feeling from it. She just apparently enjoyed it. I did not like it as much, especially since the next book personally did it better for me. I don't know. But yeah, no, the writing was fine and the atmosphere was good. I just did not care about the mystery, the characters, anything else. It was a solid 2.5. Like if it was for anything else, I would have DNF'd it, because I'm like actually trying to do better at DNFing. I mean, I DNF'd a book this month, but I, for her, kept going. And the ending, the last 70-ish pages, actually good. Like once things started to be explained, I was having a good time. So I'm going with a 3. And then of course there's The Unbecoming of Martyr, which I feel like the uncomfortable, unreliable narrator, thinking she's crazy, all this stuff, plus the mystery. Yeah, I think it was done better in Martyr personally. I really enjoyed it. HU don't have to write a 5-page paper. It's officially my favorite of the month. I just gotta post it on Instagram. But otherwise, yeah, it's it, fam. I loved it. I had to fight the urge to continue the series right then and there because I have too many books I needed to read. But yeah, no, it was good. It was. I gave her the benefit of doubt to be the lead or at least second best, and she did it. She was there. And we love her. We appreciate Martyr, okay? Now onto the book I DNF'd, which is when I started the DNFing books, or the video where I read previous DNFs. The first one was this one. This one I got in high school, back in high school. This is 2011, so like middle school, high school. This is actually an arc of it. I don't know how my teacher had an arc of it. I don't know why she gave it to me. I just know she did. I remember parts of it, and I think I got to like 137 the first, I think I tried it multiple times, but that's where it was dog-eared. And this time I got to like 120 something, and I think it was 127, and I'm good. The mystery I don't care about. I don't care about any of the characters. Hearing about Pandemonium was cool, I guess. I like the metallic feel of it all, but the writing style, especially with the dialogue, was not it. I think on Instagram, my story, I said it was drier than a saltine cracker. Which yeah, the way, like, her brother has gone missing, is presumed dead. There was like a lot of blood, and she needs to ask someone for help, and so she goes up to this guy who she trusts and goes to ask him for help, and she's like supposed to be yelling, freaking out, all this stuff, and it just was all like monotone in my head. I don't know, which I do not have that issue like ever. So and then he was just like, no, and then she goes and does it on her own, but like she doesn't understand normal human earth world, so it's just not fun to read about. Her powers were interesting, it's just she never used them, so I didn't care. So that was that one. Now we get to go slowly into the ones that I read that were not part of any vlogs, starting with Nothing But Black and Teeth by Cassandra Khaw. Is that how you pronounce her last name? I don't remember. It was interesting, I guess. It's just the horror was not there, fam. What really happened is in the first chapter, by the end of the first chapter, I wanted every character to die. Maybe not the main character and one of the guys. Like, I was fine with those two, but the rest of them, I wanted them to die. none of them, like, only one character died, and, like, was it brutal? Yes. But also, like, I understand nothing, and I was confused half the time. A lot of different, like, ghost type words were used. I think it was ghost types. Like, the only reason I can, like, use my brain to decipher that is the fact that the Oni was used once, and, like, I play Phasmophobia. I know what an Oni is from that game, but the rest of them I did not know. So it was very confusing at parts, and it was not, like, the horror was not there. I did not feel scared. Every time something horror related happened, I was like, wait a second, did someone die? No, like, I got excited about the possibility of someone dying. Like, the only part where the horror actually got me was when the ghost lady showed up behind the main character in a mirror, and she couldn't tell if it was, like, something with her trauma or something, and seeing a ghost from her past, or there's an actual ghost there. That was, like, kind of creepy. Otherwise, I didn't care. So I gave it 2 stars. After that was continuing the DNF'd books, which was A Strange Hymn by Laura Thalassa. It was fine. It's dark randomly, wasn't as good as the first one. Will continue the series, but I need a break from that series. Like, I just have to understand that the series is not my favorite, and that if I really need to read a Laura Thalassa, I should just read The Four Horsemen again, because that always does it for me. But I gave it 3.5 stars. Then there was The It Girl by Ruth Ware. This is the second Ruth Ware I've read. I read One by One last October, so it's been almost a whole year, and I think I rated it 2 stars. Like, I'm upset by this because I think there's a few that, like, I would really like Turn the Key, Death Miss Westaway, or whatever that one's called. Like, I think those ones would be my speed, but I keep on picking up the new ones, and the new ones aren't it for me. I did not care about the mystery at all. Like, 0% of the time did I care about the mystery, or any of the characters, or anything really. The most enjoyable part of this book was listening to it while I played video games. Like, that's it. I rated it 3 stars because it was written well, I guess. My main issue was the audiobook. Nothing against the narrator. It's just the audiobook, for some reason. Here, I wrote it down. The audiobook was 17 hours for a 423-page book. For the next book that I'm talking about, The Book Thief, was 14 hours and 578 pages. So, like, why was the audiobook so long? I honestly cannot figure it out. Like, it just dragged on and on and on. It just felt, it, like, helped the feeling of boredom, and, like, nothing mattered, and, like, I should just stop reading. Like, I feel like it's the same thing as The Space Between, but, like, if I had realized how much it dragged before the 50% mark, I totally would have DNF'd it. But by that point, I had put too much time into it, so I just kept on going. Meanwhile, this one, I was, like, only, like, an hour, maybe 2 hours into it, so I didn't mind DNFing it. But I was multiple hours into reading that book. I put so much time into it, and it was not a time. So 3 stars. The Book Thief is, of course, the next one by Marcus. There's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce his last name, which I gave 4.5 stars. It was the competitor for the favorite book of the month between that and Martyr. It did make me cry. I cried 2 times. I mentioned this in the vlog, but I cried 2 times. One time, when, I forget his name already, but the Jew that they have hiding in their basement, it's Liesel, the main character's birthday, and he's like, I couldn't get you anything, and she just hugs him, and I'm just crying. Okay. And then the second time was the end. It kept on hinting at what was gonna happen at the end, and I was like, no, please, no. And then it happened, and ooh, the waterworks came. I was crying. There's a reason why I waited to finish it until nighttime, so I could just cry in my bed and just suffer, because I knew it was gonna be it. Death had more of an important character than I remember. Like, I remembered when I read it, or at least the first time I read it, like, he was in the prologue, and for some reason I thought that was it. No, he's the narrator of the whole thing, so that's fun. But yeah, no, that one was good. 4.5 stars. I understand why people love it. And yeah, it almost beat out Martyr. It almost did. Then there was the books I read for the 24-hour sprints, because I'm crazy. The first one was I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. We all know of this book. Yeah, very emotional. I'm going with 4.5 for that one as well. I may put it down to a 4. I'm not sure. I'm in between. I'm on the fence. Her looking back and like talking about it, very emotional. There are a few parts that I was like, especially the part about her dad and stuff. Ooh, after her mom had died. Yeah, that was fun. Not really, but yeah. And after the fact, I did watch a bunch of press interviews she did, and the one with Drew Barrymore, I almost cried watching the interview. Okay, but yeah, no, it was an emotional thing, and a fast read. So like, I definitely recommend it. Like, I think everyone's picked it up at this point. If you haven't heard of it, like, who are you? And if you have heard of it, you're either planning to pick it up or I've already picked it up. Like, but still, it was good. 4.5 stars. Maybe we'll bring it down to 4. We'll see. Then I finally finished New Moon during the sprints. It was a longer one, but like, it's 500-page book, so I understand. I had a good time. I was having a great time, especially since there's like more space to go into more detail, especially about Bella's character, and Jacob. Bella and Jacob in general are better characters in the books than they are in the movies. Hear me out. At least so far. Listen, I know Jacob has it coming soon, but still. And so like, this is the first time I've ever read New Moon. I've read Midnight Sun. I've read Twilight twice. Like, and I've of course watched movies. I watched them all this year. And it was a good time. I was having a great time. It was like a 4-star. And then the end didn't happen. I don't know why it needed 2 hours for that. But dear God, no. So I'm going with 3.5. I had to bring it down because that ending was so boring. I didn't care. I was like almost falling asleep, and it wasn't because I was awake for 24 hours. So, you know, there's that. And then there's the book that I started and then like read the last 100 pages later on, during the 24-hour sprints, which is the one that H picked, which was a reread of Famine by Laura Thalassa. I have previously this year reread the first and second book in the rereading books box, so I guess that one is gonna go in the description too. And so I don't know, I gave her a bunch of options and she chose the 500-page one. Like, H, we gotta have a conversation. It's actually like 400, or yeah, 459. So, you know, but yeah, no, I still love him. It just takes so long. It takes 208 pages before the first kiss. And like, after the first kiss, there is not much for a good chunk of time. Once I finally get to the location where things start getting spicy, I was like, hell yeah. But then it spends a lot of time there with them not being spicy because a lot of stuff has to happen first. And I was like, no. So yeah, I did instantly want to pick up Death. It was an issue. I recognize it. I will probably pick it up in October just for fun because like, and I brought down the rating actually from 5 to 4.5. So now I get to change my tier list for the series. First one is Pestilence. Pestilence, top tier content. I didn't remember it being that good. Second place is Famine. Third place, or last place, is War. Because I don't know where Death is gonna go. It's probably gonna be second or third place. I'm thinking second. Because I remember liking Death's character more. So I'm thinking Death would be second, but we'll see when I reread it. But yeah, this was a fun reread. And it was just a good, spicy time with some plants helping out. I'm just saying, he can grow plants with his magical powers. And they helped with the spicy dance. That's all I'm gonna say. Uh, After that, I finally read the last book in the Bringing Their Hearts, or is that even what it's called? Series by Sarah Wolf, Send Me Their Souls. It was fine. I was bored most of the time. Honestly, why was the audiobook so long? And if this wasn't the third and final book in the series, I probably would have DNF'd it too because I was bored. But I finally finished it, and I gave it 3 stars. It was an experience. Like, I'm happy I finally read them. But like, hear me out. The whole entire series would have been better if Sarah Wolf actually committed to actually killing off her characters. Like, she like goes to kill them off and then like, never mind. And I'm just like, no. You gotta use a little bit of George R. R. Martin and just kill them off. Just kill them right there. And I'll have a good time. Like, I knew that the main character wasn't gonna die at the end of the third one because like, she hadn't committed to killing any of the other main characters. So like, why would she commit now? And I was right. And I was like, whatever. So 3 stars. After that was, I don't remember the name. I think it's like something about bones and sticks and deep down. You'll see the cover. But it's the second book in the Wayward Children series by Sean McGuire. I've learned that her short form novellas, more my speed. I have read a few of her actual novels. I read Into the Drowning Deep. And like, it was fine. I preferred Rolling the Deep, which is the prequel novella. I tried to read Feed last month and it was not it, fam. I DNF'd that one. So like, I think I should officially, I kind of want to read Middle Game, but like, I've officially kind of basically minus Middle Game, maybe possibly, have decided that I'm just gonna stick with her novellas because her short form is like my speed. I had a great time. I'm surprised I didn't go into what happened after the ending of the first book. Like, I really expected the last chapter to just be about that. But it didn't. But like, it's about everything that happened beforehand. And so stuff makes sense. It definitely was more of a character-based book, more into the characters of Jack and Jill and why certain things happened in the first book happened. And I'm fine with that. It was a good time. And it was a good book. And I will continue the series. I'm going to try to read the third one in October. I'm going to try it. So I went with 4 stars. And then the last one, Aristotle and Dante, I think it's like Aristotle and Dante discover the Secrets of the Universe. Is that the name of the full title? I don't remember. Which was one that H picked out for me to read. That was like her whole entire thing. I'm pretty sure she just found the first gay book on my TBR and was like, that one. Which I'm fine with. Because it's been on my TBR for a long time and no longer because it's done. I liked it. It was fine. I hear the dog. Will we get a dog special guest? We will never know. But you know, I rated 3 stars. It was fine. I don't know why I couldn't connect to R's character, but I just couldn't. So, and then also, like, a lot of Dante's character in the middle, I wasn't the biggest fan of. So it's basically an issue with the characters, but the writing and everything else, I enjoyed. So I went with 3 stars. The audiobook's like really fast. I recommend Lin-Manuel Miranda reads it. I did not realize that until I picked it up yesterday and I was like, what? So, you know, that's fun. What is the dog doing in the background? We do not know. Anyways, those were the 18 books and 1 book I DNF'd of September with an average rating of 3.9. I don't think I mentioned that in the beginning, which is higher than my normal average. I heard her into Mom's bed. You don't get to see the dog. I'm sorry. But yeah, 3.9, much higher than my normal average. I think my normal average is something between 3.4 and 3.6. So, like, much better than normally. And I'm thriving with that. You know? And yeah, that was September. Link below, of course, will be all the vlogs that I mentioned, the rereading for first 2 books in the 4 Horsemen series, the weekend reading vlog from September, the retrying DNFs and the reading H's favorites. Those are the 4. And also will be my socials. I do post reviews of all the books that are not for vlogs, or at least most of them, on Instagram and Goodreads and Storygraph, like all 3 of them at the same time. So like, go check me out on all those. Okay, a weird cut because of stuff, but we're gonna ignore that because I'm literally just saying bye for the video. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be one of the 2 weekend ones for October. So yeah, see you all then. Bye.